In your earlier conversation, you mentioned that the root of hip-hop is in Islam. So today, do you see any particular religious or religion that's more welcoming to this type of expression in music than others?
That's an interesting question, and I think it's a little difficult to answer because there are so many, even within a religion, there are so many different sects, for instance, in Islam, and also different denominations in Christianity. And in general, in Islam, it's considered haram or prohibitive to use music in that way and to refer to Allah and things like that. So, according to Orthodox Islamic practices, which also vary across sects, that's an issue. And so I think you can generalize a little bit to say that all the artists who are very steeped in a religious context can be seen as being on the cutting edge in terms of what they're doing with hip-hop. In particular, in Christianity, various denominations and churches, even within denominations, have various viewpoints on this. I've interviewed artists who have broken up churches over being a performer there. People have left the choir knowing that a Christian hip-hop artist was coming.
Wow.
And then other artists who are part of non-denominational churches, which I've found that are more open to Christian hip-hop. And so when they come in and perform, it's more of being embraced by the membership and also by the leadership. In general, I think in the Christian hip-hop context, which is what my research particularly focuses on, there is a greater acceptance among non-denominational churches, and that may be because they are not part of a bigger denomination with these various doctrinal and rules and stipulations, even though they do have their own, ways of being able to express Christianity in their particular ways. But a lot of the artists who I talk to are also members of non-denominational churches. So it is hard to kind of talk about that. Could be a book right there, that question.
Yeah.
But I think in general, all artists who are steeped in a religious context, who utilize Christian hip-hop, are on the cutting edge. I can say that.
Right. I'm sure some in the audience are very inspired by your work. What advice would you give to them to begin writing something of their own?
I would say find a topic that you're really interested in, because I think even though I love to write, a book is really a long process.
Yeah.
This work that I particularly mentioned is a short article, but I'm actually working on a book, and even for articles, I think it's important to find something that you're really interested in and that you feel you can sustain your interest over a particular period of time, and also to find people who can give you some critical feedback. I think it's important as well. Not necessarily people who are that familiar with your topic, even though that will help, but also people who have a kind of an outside perspective on your topic, who are able to just let you know what's making sense and what's not making sense. And also doing the research is really important to see what's already been said about your work, about your topic, and then where your work fits in the conversation.
Right. Mm-hmm. What project are you working on right now, and what can we look forward to next?
So as I mentioned, I'm working on my book, and it's called The Holy Hip Hop Movement, and it's based on my dissertation on Christian hip hop in Detroit, but I'm also doing research here in Atlanta on Christian hip hop music, and so it'll be focusing on those two cities. And I don't have a projected publication date because it's still kind of in the early stages. And I'm also working on a co-edited collection with Dr. Ebony Elizabeth Thomas. She's an assistant professor at Wayne State University. And the book is titled Reading African American Experiences in the Obama Era, Theory, Advocacy, Activism. And it is coming out late fall 2011, so just, in a few months. And that book really focuses on what does it mean to be in this moment of Obama. We have all this conversation about him being the black president. Are things really better for black people? Are we in a post-race society? Have we been able to overcome all of those discrimination issues and challenges in America. And our argument in the book is that we are not in a post-race society. There are definitely challenges that we still face. And we see it as being in the best of times, but also in the worst of times when you look at the economic disparities that black people continue to face at a higher rate than other groups in the nation. So in the book, we have a lot of young and upcoming scholars who are writing about education, literacy, teaching in the classroom, arts-based education projects, different narratives about black experience, even the Reverend Jeremiah Wright issue around Obama, using that as a way to explore religion more critically in classrooms.
Right.
But then we also have dialogue chapters where we talk with community activists, and those are more cross-generational, where we talk about issues like the prison industrial complex, black love and relationships, and public health and health care, just to get those more informal and engaged conversations across generations about these important issues in the black community.
Those are really interesting work. We're looking so much forward to seeing your future work. But in our conversation, you mentioned that involved a lot of research. So were you able to use the library as a resource?
Definitely. I was able to use just the article databases through the electronic databases that the library has here. And even when there weren't materials here at the library, interlibrary loan was really helpful. I would get books in 2 days, sometimes less, but definitely the same week most times. And that was really helpful to be able to access anything that I needed in the area for my research. And also just the support of the staff and of the other librarians here at the library who I've worked with as a research fellow here at the library have been really interested in my work and supportive of it.
Well, thank you, Dr. BrooksTatum. Thank you for coming to our program.
Thank you for having me.